From starring as one of Star Wars' most popular characters to dissing the ever-evolving franchise, this is what Liam Neeson really thinks of all the Star Wars spin-offs. Neeson, who played Qui-Gon Jinn in Star Wars The Phantom Menace, has been making waves with his comments about the franchise. And though his comments are controversial among fans, he's not alone. During an appearance on Watch What Happens Live, Neeson explained why he's not interested in playing Qui-Gon Jinn again in a spin-off series. There are so many spin-offs of Star Wars, it's diluting it to me, and it's taken away the mystery and the magic in a weird way, he said.
There's so many spin-offs of Star Wars. It's diluting it to me, and it's taken away the mystery and the magic in a weird way, you know?
Neeson's comments immediately ignited a lot of debate among Star Wars fans. Despite holding this opinion, Neeson did have a few lines in the Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi where he reprised his role as Qui-Gon, but only for a very brief cameo. With such a large franchise, of course, there are going to be a few actors that aren't interested in playing the same role over and over again. But it was more the way he completely dissed the spin-offs, sequels, and growth of the franchise, of which he has been a part of, that left a sour taste in the mouths of fans. He also said last year, in an interview with comicbooks.com, that he would consider reprising his role if it were for a movie, but not a TV show.
If it was a film, yes, I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to TV, I must admit, but I just like the big screen.
Despite that, his commentary hasn't been received well by fans. Neeson isn't the only original Star Wars cast member who has expressed frustration with the franchise's new direction. Many actors from the original Star Wars trilogy have expressed their dislike for the numerous spin-offs that have come out over the years. After all, the Star Wars universe is brimming with sequels, prequels, TV series, comic books, animated cartoons, and video games. It can be hard to keep the canon universe straight. Mark Hamill, who played Luke Skywalker, has been vocal about his disappointment with the sequel trilogy. In an interview with IGN, he said, "I still haven't accepted it completely, but it's only a movie. I hope people like it. I hope they don't get upset."
But listen, I still haven't accepted it completely, but it's only a movie. I hope people like it. I hope they don't get upset.
Not only that, during press leading up to the premiere of The Last Jedi, Hamill made it clear he wasn't a fan of the direction of his role, stating, "He's not my Luke." Despite that, he reprised his portrayal of the famous character for the film. It may be worth noting, though, that he did apologize for the comments later, and went on to play Luke in all three films of the sequel trilogy, which is comprised of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and finally The Rise of Skywalker. Harrison Ford, who played the original Han Solo, has also been critical of the franchise's new direction. In an interview with GQ, he said, "It's a strange process. It's a strange way to make a living. You're creating something that is ephemeral, that exists for a moment in time and then disappears." But Star Wars, of course, doesn't seem to disappear. When asked if he would reprise the role, Ford told Entertainment Weekly, "Han Solo was very good to me at a certain point in my career, but I'm done. I'm done with him." But despite this, Ford, like Hamill, also appeared in the final movie of the sequel trilogy, The Rise of Skywalker.
Your mother's gone. But what she stood for, what she fought for, that's not gone.
It seems as though director J.J. Abrams must have been very convincing when approaching the former cast. Even Carrie Fisher, better known as Princess Leia, chose to reprise her role while she was still alive and appears in all three films that make up the sequel trilogy. Fisher tragically died just after the second film in the trilogy finished filming. The actress had a love-hate relationship with her role throughout her life, initially finding the phenomena of the films shocking and admitting in one of her memoirs that if she knew how popular it would be, she never would have signed on, but later growing to love and appreciate fans' love for her character.
"I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash. I recognized your foul stench when I was brought on board."
These three iconic actors from the original trilogy may in part owe their careers to the film's success, but clearly their experiences with its continued prevalence, like Neeson's, haven't always been positive. Despite varying opinions from the cast, crew, and fans of the film, Neeson's comments about Star Wars spin-offs come at a time when the franchise has expanded massively, with a host of animated and live-action TV shows being released on streaming services like Disney Plus in recent years. Throw in movies like Rogue One and Solo alongside the recent sequel trilogy, and Neeson isn't wrong that there is a lot more Star Wars content available these days beyond the prequel and original trilogies. Some might blame or credit this on the Walt Disney Company's purchase of Lucasfilm in 2012 for $4 billion. After all, it was with this purchase that many of the new films started rolling out. Audiences had long accepted the 2005 film Revenge of the Sith as the final Star Wars film.
You were the chosen one!
It was said that you would destroy this Sith, not join them!
But 10 years later, Star Wars was back on the big screen. All of this expansion of the Star Wars universe has been welcomed by many fans, but not everyone is happy with the direction it has taken. The sequel trilogy, in particular, has been divisive among fans, with some praising it as a worthy continuation of the original trilogy and others criticizing it for straying too far from the source material. Disney initially planned to release a new Star Wars film every year starting in 2015, but this might have been too much even for mega fans, as Solo: A Star Wars Story, a standalone spin-off about Han Solo, flopped at the box office and seemingly changed Disney's approach to the franchise.
It's a real sweet deal here. We do this one job with them, we make some real money, and then we're free.
Despite the ongoing mixed reception, Lucasfilm has been pushing ahead with more Star Wars content, including the popular Obi-Wan Kenobi series starring Ewan McGregor. McGregor clearly doesn't share Neeson's distaste for a good Star Wars spin-off, nor does Hayden Christensen, the prequel trilogy's Anakin Skywalker, as the actor also reprised his role as Darth Vader alongside McGregor in the series. The series was released May 27, 2022, and its generally positive reception may indicate that fans are appreciative of another Star Wars series rather than feeling like it takes away from the magic.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anakin. For all of it.
With rumors swirling that Lucasfilm and Disney are going to announce their next movie at Star Wars Celebration in April, the hope is the franchise can bounce back in theaters after the disappointment that was 2019's The Rise of Skywalker. Though some may argue that the last few films being essential flops indicates that there are too many spin-offs, others undeniably see it as an opportunity to explore the vast universe George Lucas created back in 1970. Ultimately, the success of the franchise lies in the hands of the fans, not stars like Neeson, though it probably wouldn't hurt if he was willing to reprise his role as Qui-Gon. Whether you love or hate the spin-offs, it's important to remember the magic that the original trilogy brought to the world of cinema. And that original trilogy, we must point out, weren't films that featured Qui-Gon at all. So, is Liam Neeson right about Star Wars spin-offs diluting the franchise? That's a question that's likely to continue to spark debate among fans for years to come. Regardless of where you stand on the issue, it's clear that Star Wars will continue to be a source of controversy and conversation among fans and stars alike. And while the original actor may be out of the mix, Star Wars has been known to recast characters before, especially in order to age characters up or down depending on where the story occurs in the Star Wars timeline. Fans may be lucky enough to have Qui-Gon Jinn return one day, though it certainly seems like they should give up any hope of seeing Liam Neeson in the role again. But really, that probably makes sense given the character's, spoiler alert, fateful end in the film The Phantom Menace. So many fans should start dreaming up their favorite picks to play a young Qui-Gon in a Star Wars prequel. Now we know what Liam Neeson really thinks about all the Star Wars spin-offs.